Does the Bible really say the earth was created in 7 literal days? Literal 24-hour periods? If you're a skeptic, let's walk through this together because I made this video for you. We're going to take a look at what the word day means in Hebrew. A lot of people have been told that if they want to be a Christian, they have to stand in opposition to science, and that science is totally wrong. Now, I'll tell you right now, this is not a critical issue in the Bible. It's not an essential of the faith, but some people might have told you that it is. To a skeptic, it's really important because they feel like science might have disproven the Bible. But what if I told you there's more to it, and the Bible is more complicated than we even realized? Let's take a look at this issue. The first thing we should look at is the word day, and we should ask this question. What did the word day mean to the original ancient audience? There are actually 3 definitions for the word day in the original Hebrew language. One of them is a 24-hour period. The second is the period of the day where there's daylight. The third is an era, a long undefined period of time or age. So right there, in the original Hebrew, you've actually got some options. You have possibly the option, depending on the context, of interpreting the 7 days of creation as eras, long periods of time. Now that might match up better with popular science, so that could be intriguing if it's true. So what about the context? In the past, I was always really interested in this issue, but I heard a lot of Christians who were told you have to take a literal 24-hour definition of the word day. Otherwise, you can't take the Bible seriously. Now, I think what's going on here is some people are afraid that if you read this story metaphorically, that you will read other things metaphorically that are not really metaphoric. So, I can understand their concern. They just want to take the Bible seriously, but what if there's a clue in the text that the word day might be metaphoric? I've actually had pastors tell me there is no literary case, there's no evidence in the Bible that the word day could be metaphoric. Maybe you've heard that, and maybe you've walked away from Christianity. I've heard a lot of stories like that. That's the reason this issue is such a big deal to a skeptic. Well, one day I came across a metaphoric use of the word day in Genesis chapter 2. The same author, probably, we think, that wrote Genesis chapter 1. So let's look at that. Genesis chapter 1 contains the 7 days of creation, and if you go over to Genesis chapter 2, it's traditionally held that the same author was writing like a zoomed in version of Genesis chapter 1, but that focused on the creation of man. There's a couple other interpretations out there that I find intriguing, but let's just look at Genesis chapter 2. This is an English Standard Version. It says, "Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the 7th day God finished his work that he had done, and he rested on the 7th day from all the work that he had done. So God blessed the 7th day and made it holy, because on it God rested from all the work that he had done in creation." Then verse 4 says, "These are the generations of the heavens and the earth when they were created, in the day that the Lord God made the heavens and the earth." Oh, did you see that word day in Genesis chapter 4? Then it goes on to talk about day 6, or that's traditionally what is believed. Now, here's what's so interesting. The beginning of this chapter completes the 7 days of creation, and then we've got Genesis chapter 2 verse 4, which seems to be this summary statement of all of creation. These are the generations. I mean, what are the generations? Like humans? What is that? Of the heavens and the earth when they were created. That doesn't sound like a literal day, especially because God did not create people on the same day he created the heavens and the earth. The heavens and the earth's creation, that's not even part of the 7 days of creation sequence. If you watch my last video, you'll see that. There's an indicator in Hebrew after Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 that a sequence is about to start, and that is where day 1 begins. So God did not create any man or woman on the day that he created the heavens and the earth. This is a metaphoric use of the word day. That is the biblical evidence that I was told does not exist, and maybe you were too, but there's room here. Now, why don't people know about this? Well, it might actually not be their fault. It might be the translation of the Bible they're reading, because the NIV translation, the NLT, and a couple others, they actually took the word day out of that verse. I don't know why. Now, I wouldn't tell anyone not to read the NIV or NLT. I mean, I gotta be honest, that's a little frustrating to me that they would do that, because I tried to look in the original Hebrew manuscripts and make sure that word day was there. It's the word yom, and it is there. It's even in the manuscript, the Masoretic text, that the NIV Bible is based off of. So I have no idea why they deleted that. I don't think those translations are going to steer you wrong on the big picture, but I think there's a lesson here we can learn is you should probably check out multiple translations. I like the ESV, English Standard Version, because they took care to be very accurate to the original language. And I can't read Hebrew. I check it, and I somewhat have to rely on other scholars to check that stuff out. But if you can't read Hebrew, like most people, well, then it's good to pick up translation of the Bible that's pretty accurate to the original Hebrew and Greek manuscripts. I hope this gives you some hope that you don't necessarily have to take a young earth view. If you explore all of the evidence and you decide that you want to take the word day literally, great, you know? I don't think that this is a critical issue, but the thing I would like to tell people is, think about the purpose of this text. Is the purpose of Genesis chapters 1 and 2 to tell us about the science of creation and exactly how God created things? Or is it to write something to us and give us a spiritual message? The ancient writers, I mean, they didn't know anything about science. So if they started burying scientific facts in here and they gave that to their peers to read, they would be like, what is this information? Like, I don't understand it. It'd be like taking quantum physics back to like the 1500s and giving it to people and expecting them to understand it, you know? So the question is, what did this chapter mean to the original audience? What was it intended to communicate? And I think rather than science, it was probably intended to communicate who created humans, our relationship to God, and who we are. So even if you don't understand any of the other stuff I was talking about, if you just look at the chapter and you think, what is the spiritual message I'm supposed to take away from this? What does this say about me and God? Then you are getting the essentials. But I do hope if you were wrestling with this topic and you had questions and you struggled with the Bible, maybe now you feel like you have more options. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, like this video, subscribe to my channel. I am hoping that we can start making more videos like this to help you wrestle through some tough questions about the Bible. All right, I'll see you again soon.